Hi Ernesto, hi Michael. Today's question says like this. What is your view on the simultaneity of time? Can the Jiva be living at the same time in different time periods, Middle Age, prehistoric life, etc., and weakening the visaya-vasanas, having this an across-time impact on the different time periods the Jiva is living in? Is the ego living itself as many different Jivas who have a different plan of return to the self, prarabdha, in each case? Could this plan be happening simultaneously in different scenarios at the same time, or is it linear according to space-time?
Um, the first thing to understand is that time is not real. Time is just an illusion. But it is a very basic illusion because all without, if there was no time, no change could occur. So since phenomena are constantly changing, and since ego itself is changing in the sense that it rises and subsides, the time is a background illusion, we can say. There's no time in the absence of ego. But when ego comes into existence, it brings time into existence along with it. And that enables the whole of the illusion. So time is a very basic illusion, but it is an illusion. It's not at all real. When you talk about the simultaneity of time, that is complicating things, because if you say that this event in this time and this event in that time are happening in the same time, you are presupposing some other level of time. That is the first level of time where two things are happening at two things that happen this time and this time. If you want to say they happen at the same time, you have to have another level of time in which they both occur simultaneously. So this is just adding to
No,
confusion.
I think I'm not real clear in that. No,
Yeah.
The idea is a jiva that have a plan, no, a plan
Yeah.
of the different prarabdhas along the reincarnations. No,
Yeah.
maybe it's possible, conform the Bhagavan's teachings, no, that a part of a jiva is in this time, for example, no, in this age, in this era, no,
Yeah.
and at the same moment in another same moment in other time, no, maybe
Yeah.
in the Egyptians
Yeah.
time, are living other part of the plan that is necessary to renounce to the ego, no? Different fragments or parts of the jiva
Mm.
is living in different moments on different dimensions. What is necessary to the same jiva, no different part of the ego, because we know that the ego can appear as the different characters, no, of Michael, of
Yeah.
Ernesto,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Carlos, no,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
the jiva that have a concrete plan to renounce to the visaya-vasanas and to return to the self, no, it's possible this jiva have different journeys in different times and spaces.
Um, I think that it seems to me that's unnecessarily complicating thing. Firstly, jiva means ego. Ego is only one. There is one ego. When we rise as ego, we experience ourselves as a body, and consequently we experience other things. We cannot be having two dreams at the same time. At any one time, we are dreaming only one life. We dream, I am this body, and this is the world I'm seeing. So you can't be simultaneously dreaming yourself as many bodies, because how at any one time we can have only one experience. So it's I don't see any benefit in speculating about these things. That is, as I say, time doesn't exist independent of ego. Only when we rise as ego, time comes into existence. But so long as we experience ourselves as ego, time seems to exist. And through the course of time, we undergo we undergo what we were talking about earlier, the spiritual journey. That is, we undergo a process of spiritual evolution. That is evolution in the sense that we are slowly gaining in detachment. We are slowly detaching ourselves from other things. So this is a process the ego goes through to suggest that there are other levels of time, but the same thing can be happening. The same thing can be, but different things can be happening at the same time in the experience of a jiva. It's just too complicated, and it's not really very helpful. Now, what we know is now I am so and so, and I experience all this. But in whose view does all this exist? In whose view did this so and so, whom I take myself to be, exist? It's only in my view. So who am I? We want to turn our attention away from the many back towards the one. So the one root of all this is ego. It's only when we rise as ego, whenever we rise as ego, we take a body as I. It's only one body. We never experience ourselves as more than one body. So we experience ourselves as one body. And through that, the five senses of that one body, we experience a world in which there seem to be so many other bodies, which seem to be ego just like us, seem to be in our view at least. But as Bhagavan says in Ulladu in verse 33, I think it is, being one is the truth, the experience of everyone. Wait a second, I'll see which verse that is. Yeah, in verse 33, he says, saying I do not know myself or I have known myself is ground for ridicule. Why? To make oneself an object are there two selves, because being one is the truth, the experience of everyone. So we all experience ourselves as one I. So at this one I, we can only experience ourselves as one body at a time. So let's not try to complicate it. It is not what you say. There could be truth in what you say, in the sense that now we experience ourselves as living in this 21st century. Our body is slowly getting older. When this body dies, there's no guarantee that we're going to be born at some time in the future. Our next birth could be in the Middle Ages or in prehistoric times or whatever. That is possible because all this is a dream. So just because I'm now dreaming that I'm in the 21st century doesn't mean that in my next dream I have to dream I'm in the 22nd century. I could dream I'm in the 19th century or 16th century or whatever, because all this is a mental creation. So because it's a dream, in a dream anything is possible. But always in a dream, we experience ourselves as one. We never experience ourselves as two.
Yes, because if ever is the same ego, if there are no more than one, but if this ego have the power, to create inside the illusion of the time and the space, why is not possible that this ego can create different fragments of himself as a body in different times?
Because as Bhagavan says, being one is always our experience. Ego has a power of creation. It sees itself as many. That is, what we see as all this multiplicity is only ourself. But in spite of seeing ourselves as many, we still experience ourselves as one, if you understand what I mean. That is, all objects are nothing but a projection of ourselves. So they are ourselves in a sense. But the subject, The experiencer, the perceiver, always experiences itself as one. That subject is ego. So as ego, we are always experiencing ourselves as one. So we identify, now I identify myself as Michael. In my next life, I may identify myself as Ernesto or Carlos or anyone. Yeah. I don't know. But it's at any one time, we experience ourselves as we always experience ourselves as one. So at any one time, we experience ourselves as one body.
Just like in the dream, we are dreaming, but the body is in bed. Well, it's not.
Yeah, that is
we're having a dream, but
we say that when we wake up. We say,
exactly,
oh,
exactly.
While I was dreaming, my body was lying in bed.
Exactly.
But that wasn't our experience when we were dreaming. In dreaming, when we were dreaming, our body was wandering here and there, doing this and that.
Yeah,
that
exactly. Exactly. What I mean, that we think that we are having one body in the dream,
yeah.
while the other body is still is only one. Yeah. I can only have that one experience, either one or the other.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I think anyway, in terms of utility, I think that here and now is the only place where we can exercise our free will and turn within. So even though there are more realms or there are other time periods where the Jiva, even if that's possible, that we can do nothing. I mean, as we don't have the experience of being there. So
yeah.
I'm experiencing myself and where I can do something, I guess.
All ideas about things that are not in our present experience are just that, they're just ideas. According to Bhagavan, even our present experience is just an idea. So none of this is real. What is real is only the one, I am. But now that one I am seems to be mixed up along with this person. So now instead of experiencing myself as I am, as just I am, I'm experiencing myself as I am Michael. What is in that mixed awareness, I am Michael, what is real is only I am. But whether I experience myself as just I am or as I am Michael, I've always experienced myself as one. We can never experience ourselves as more than one. So it's always from one perspective. When we see multiplicity, we are always perceiving it from one perspective. Yes. We can't perceive from multiple perspectives.
The same that the example in the dream that you have in the night, no? You say, yes. I saw 10 people having a dinner with me, no?
Yeah.
These people have a consciousness, have an ego, no. All these people are appearing you, no? So,
yeah, but not only those, there were 10 people sitting around the table. All those 10 people were not aware. Yes. What was aware, you were experiencing yourself as one of those 10 people. But even the person you experienced yourself to be was not aware. What was aware was only you, the dreamer, who was dreaming itself to be Ernesto in the dream. Yes. But the dream Ernesto was not aware of anything. Just like the present Ernesto is not aware of anything. Carlos is not aware of anything. Michael is not aware of anything. The ego who is experiencing all this sees all these as sentient because it sees itself as one person. So it takes that one person. Now I experience myself as Michael. So in my view, Michael is aware. Michael is seeing all this. But it's not Michael who's seeing this. Michael is just the name for 5 sheaths. Those 5 sheaths, as Bhagavan said, they're all jada. In verse 22, Bhagavan says explicit, verse 22 of Upateshundya, Bhagavan says all 5 are jada. So that means the physical body is jada, the prana, the life is jada, the mind, all the grosser functions of the mind, they're jada, the intellect is jada, the will is jada, all our desires and attachments are not aware of anything. We have those desires and we are aware, I want this, I like this, I dislike that. So what is sentient is only ego, not any of these 5 sheets. So there's no such thing as a sentient person. All people seem to be sentient because the one who is sentient, namely ego, mistakes itself to be a person. Therefore, that person, it mistakes itself to be, seems to be sentient. Therefore, all the other people seem to be sentient.
And Michael, what about this? Because I don't know if this it can be really attributed to Ramana, but this someone asked once Ramana Maharshi. I don't know where it's taken from actually, but supposedly someone asked Ramana Maharshi. People talk of Vaikunta, Kailasa, Indraloka, Chandraloka, the Hindu heavens. Do they really exist? And supposedly Ramana replied, certainly. You can rest assured that they all exist. Like all these realms of experience, of more subtle experience or something.
Yeah.
Can that be attributed to Ramana? Did he?
Bhagavan answered according to a level of people. Bhagavan's ultimate teaching is no world exists. It exists. Bhagavan said the word loka is the word that means world. Etymologically, loka means what is seen. So this world is what is seen, but it doesn't exist. Just like a dream, the dream world doesn't exist, except in our perception. This world doesn't exist in our perception. But he did sometimes say, just as real as this world, all those other worlds are equally real. They're all part of the dream.
It is as real as this world. I mean, it's
yeah. But that doesn't mean that they're real, because this world is not real.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I meant. Exactly. Yeah. No matter how subtle, how high, how still a world.
But many things Bhagavan said. Often Bhagavan said very subtle things, and he said them in a very nuanced way. But people misunderstood, and they read their own interpretation into it, and then they say, oh, Bhagavan said this. But it's what they understood of what Bhagavan said. It's not what Bhagavan actually said. So many sayings that are attributed to Bhagavan, we have to take with a large pinch of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is none of us understand Bhagavan. We cannot understand Bhagavan. As Bhagavan said in verse 21 of Uludunaptu, if you want to know Bhagavan, if you want to understand Bhagavan, if you want to see what Bhagavan really is, there's only one way. He said, Unadal Khan, that means becoming food is seeing. So only when we are swallowed by him, that is when we lose ourselves completely in him, can we know him as he actually is. So long as we are trying to understand Bhagavan from our perspective, that is the first thing, we all see Bhagavan as a person, as a body, a nice, gentle old man who gave nice teachings and was kind and affectionate and loving to all. That's what we see Bhagavan. Bhagavan says, I am not this body. Because you mistake yourself to be a body, you mistake me to be this body. But neither are you that body, nor am I this body. So Bhagavan's view is completely different. So people say so many stories about Bhagavan, but they're all, none of the people who tell the stories have understood Bhagavan correctly. Because if they understood Bhagavan correctly, they would keep quiet. I haven't understood Bhagavan correctly because I'm chattering a lot. When I come to understand Bhagavan's teachings, then I'll keep quiet. We come to understand Bhagavan's teachings correctly only when we are swallowed by him.
That's one of the things that I think that having that in mind, that the only understanding possible is by being swallowed by him.
Yes.
Is that okay? I can think that I'm very advanced. I can think this and that, but until I disappear, there's no real progress. I mean, any self-cheating or that is.
Yes. So long as there's an I to think I am self-realized, or I am very advanced, or I am making good progress, that I is the problem. Get rid of that I, and then all problems are solved.
Yeah, because sometimes I tell myself, "Oh, I understood this better." I think and I get no. Well, no. I mean, yeah, I might be clearer, of course, but
relatively
the end point
speaking,
is not that.
That is,
Relatively speaking.
as we progress in this spiritual path, we do understand things more clearly. That's it's not because I have understood it. To the extent that I is removed, to that extent we understand. So it's very difficult to put it into words, because so long as there's an I that thinks it is understood, the understanding is lacking.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you don't have to take it.
that is not to deny, but as this ego subsides more and more, more and more clarity is experienced. That is true.
Yeah, but I didn't mean that you don't have to have that arrogance that, oh, I understand this thing
exactly,
better.
exactly.
I know. I'm still here.
Arrogance or pride is the very worst thing. That is what we need to avoid.
One thing that is you recognize that your comprehension is better, and the problem is when you think that is my comprehension, no? Or
exactly.
I'm in advance, so I'm not.